Depression. Many of us have experienced it or know someone who has. And as college students, we all know somebody who is struggling to juggle work, life, and school. But did you know how widespread depression is among college students? In 2023, the American College Health Association conducted a nationwide survey of nearly 76,000 students. Of those surveyed, nearly 28% reported being diagnosed with depression. And of those diagnosed, nearly 60% reported negative academic impact. When so many students are struggling emotionally and academically, depression isn't just a mental health issue. It is an educational crisis. College is meant for growth and discovery, but for many, it's dominated by stress, loneliness, and hopelessness. As a full-time college student and a supervisor responsible for his team's well-being, I have seen firsthand how mental health can impact motivation, attendance, and work performance. My father-in-law suddenly passed away while attending Del Mar College while pursuing an associate's degree. Grief hit so hard that I withdrew from all my classes and didn't return to school for nearly 10 years. Understanding what depression is among college students will allow us to become better stewards of building healthier college campuses. So in order to do this, we need to better understand what depression is and how it shows up in college students, the causes and risk factors, and how to cope and the available resources to each of us. By learning these three areas, we not only support ourselves, but each other. And we can even possibly save a life. So let's look at what depression is and how it impacts college students. Depression is more than just sadness or stress. The National Institute of Mental Health describes it as a condition that affects how people think, feel, and function in everyday life. In college students, it shows up as loss of motivation, withdrawal from friends, decline in academic performance, and difficulty concentrating. These aren't just bad days. These are patterns that can slowly overwhelm someone's life. The students may stop socializing, lose interest in classes they once enjoyed, or just become constantly too tired to study. These students might be okay on the surface, or look okay on the surface, but internally they're struggling greatly. So understanding depression is just part of the picture. Next, let's look at why it is so common in the college level. Identifying the causes and risk factors of depression are critical in developing better understanding of it. Several pressures lead to depression symptoms. To start, academic pressure. The American Psychological Association describes it that achievement-driven environments lead to anxiety, burnout, and perfectionism, which all lead to greater development of depression symptoms. Tying self-worth to our grades lead to everyday tasks or assignments to a test of our identity. Next is financial stress and sleep deprivation. A study found in the Journal of American College Health, financial stress is directly tied to long hours and less sleep. And each of these things can lead to increased symptoms of depression. For those struggling, juggling tuition, rent, and job responsibilities, exhaustion can quickly lead to emotional burnout. Lastly is social isolation. The American College Health Association explains that students who isolate themselves from others are at great risk of increased depression symptoms. These causes may be complex, but help and healing are possible. And the good news is that support is readily available for those who reach out. There are numerous coping strategies and resources available for recovery. College campuses typically have resources or building centers that offer mental health resources, because many don't know about them, or they're embarrassed to use them, or just don't want to reach out because they don't want to be a burden on anybody. Here at Texas A&M University Victoria, we have a counseling center that has in-person or online sessions with licensed counselors, or even offer an app such as Tao by Uplift that offer different tools to handle stress or be more mindful about how we're feeling. Away from college campuses, there are national resources such as the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline for those in emotional distress, which is monitored 24/7 for at any time situations. The National Institute of Mental Health also explains that healthy routines will help us fight off these symptoms or prevent them completely. These routines include sleep, exercise, eating well, and staying connected. The BMC Psychiatry Journal explains a little bit more on staying connected, that developing and maintaining supportive relationships will help decrease the symptoms of depression and help us build emotional resilience. Understanding all these things can be a life-changing difference, something I personally know. So we've looked at what depression is and how it shows up in college students, the causes and risk factors of depression, and tools for coping and the resources available for healing. Knowledge of depression will allow us to be more helpful for others around us and ourselves, and could be the difference between despair and recovery. If 1 in 4 students are fighting off depression and more than half of them are having their grades negatively impacted, awareness and connection aren't just urgent. They're critically urgent. During my time in the Navy, I suffered a severe car accident. Following that car accident, I dived into a 6-month accelerated training course that condensed nearly 2 years of material into that time window, quickly followed by another 6-month period of hands-on training. And so whenever I failed my final oral board, it felt like I had lost everything. Depression hit very hard, and I didn't know what to do. But eventually I reached out, and I was able to recover with the help of family, professionals, and my faith journey. Failure doesn't define worth. Asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. So if you ever feel hopeless or see somebody who is struggling, reach out. Be a resource, or help someone else find those resources that they need, but while being one. Depression is powerful, but connection is too. One honest conversation can actually save a life. Depression won't be fixed overnight, but it's important for us to take notice, to take care, and to act. Be the difference for someone that they didn't know they needed.